Every React app is basically built from components. Buttons, cards, navbars, sidebars, modos. Almost everything you see on a modern website is a component. And once you understand this idea, React starts making way more sense. That's because when beginners first open a React project, they usually see a function returning HTML-looking code inside JavaScript. And honestly, it looks strange at first. It almost feels like HTML and JavaScript got mixed together in a way that shouldn't work. A lot of people look at JSX for the first time and think, wait, why is there HTML inside my JavaScript file? And that confusion is completely normal in the beginning. But the interesting part is that once you understand the reason React works this way, everything starts to feel much more logical. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what a React component is, why React uses components everywhere, how they help developers build modern applications faster, and how to create your very first component step by step. Before React existed, developers often built websites by writing huge amounts of repeated HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. So I'm going to give you an example. I'm going to add here 10 buttons. Actually, initially just one button. So button, type button, click me. And I'm going to increase its scale. So style scale 1.6. And I'm going to give a margin. So margin 20 pixels. And this is our button. So in the old times, if a page had 10 similar buttons or cards, you usually had to duplicate the same code over and over again. So if we want more buttons, we would have to write this again and again and again multiple times. But what if you want to give another border to this button? You would have to go each over one and change all of them. And this is totally not cool for us developers, right? And the bigger the project became, the harder it was to maintain. Imagine changing the style of a button and then needing to manually update that button in 20 different places. That quickly becomes messy. So React solved a lot of that problem by introducing a component-based way of thinking. So instead of building pages as one giant file, we can split the interface into smaller reusable pieces, so each piece becomes easier to understand, easier to reuse, and easier to maintain. And that's exactly what we are going to learn right now. So before we understand the structure of a component, you actually need to initialize your React project. So to initialize a React project, you first need to open the terminal of your VS Code. So if you don't know how to do that, you can open your terminal tab and click on new terminal, or just use this shortcut written right here. I'm gonna click on it, and here we have our terminal. You can change the type of your terminal, so we have git bash, command prompt. It will show all the terminals that you could be using here, the default ones and the others that you have installed in your computer. So right here we can write npm create vit at latest. Before we continue, if you don't have npm installed on your desktop, to use npm you have to install Node.js. The link for it will be in the description and also in the pinned comment. It is available for Windows, Mac OS, and Linux as well. It's pretty simple to install, but if you don't want to do it now, it's totally fine. If you Google React Playground, there will be many websites where you can practice React code without installing it on your desktop. A pretty good example is StackBlitz. I've used this website many times, so I really recommend it for you. I know it's not a sponsorship, but it does a great job because it gives you the right tools so you can start writing your React code from scratch, so you can practice and test your code here, and you can practice as much as you want. And then if you feel confident, or if you change your mind, you can install Node.js on your desktop and write your code in your VS Code, for example. Alright, now that you have npm in your PC or you're using a Playground, you can run npm create vit at latest and press enter. It's going to ask if you want to proceed. You can type this letter Y and press enter again. Now it asks for a project name. I'm going to write dot here because I want to save the project in my current folder, because my folder is called your first component, and that's exactly where I want to save all of my code. So I'm going to press enter, and I'm going to choose the option remove existing files and continue because my folder is not empty. But you probably won't receive this message because your folder will be empty, right? So I'm going to press enter here, and now you have to choose a framework. In this case, we have to choose React, and then if we want to work with TypeScript or JavaScript, personally for this video we're going to use JavaScript because we don't want to make it over complicated for those who don't know TypeScript yet. But if you feel more familiar with TypeScript, you can totally choose this option. But I'm going to stick with JavaScript this time. Now it asks us if we want to install with npm and start now. I'm gonna press yes, and it's already installing the dependencies with npm. p.m. so we just have to wait now. Alright, so the installation was successful, and now we can open this link on our browser, and that's what we get. It has a basic template, so if we open our Files Explorer here, we can see everything that was generated from our vid command. So we can close this terminal here. It wasn't deleted. We are just hiding the terminal, so if you want to open it again later, you can totally do it. I'm going to open this app.jsx, and we can delete all of this. So I'm going to delete this, and also delete this use state and all of these import declarations, including the app.css. And after that, we can go into our index.css and delete all of this. And to start, we can write our global styles here, defining a box size border box, a font family Arial, and we can also reset the margin and the padding. Alright, that's a good start. We can delete the app.css because there's no need for it right now, and we can also delete the assets folder. So this is the start of our application. And to start understanding how these components work, we can start by creating a button component. So to create a component in React, you can go to your Explorer. So right here, we can create a new file and call it button.jsx. We are following this naming convention, but you could call it button.jsx with the B lowercase, but it's totally up to you. We're going to follow the capital letter pattern. And the JSX extension basically tells us that this file will contain JSX, and JSX is one of the core parts of React. And it's probably the thing that looks the weirdest to beginners at first, because technically we are writing something that looks like HTML directly inside JavaScript. But under the hood, React transforms the syntax into normal JavaScript that the browser understands. I'm going to press enter here, and the reason why JSX exists is because it makes UI code much easier to read and work with. So I'm going to reduce the size of the viewport so we can focus on our code. And imagine trying to build every HTML element manually with pure JavaScript functions. The code would become extremely verbose and difficult to maintain, and JSX gives us a cleaner and more visual way to describe the interface we want to display on the screen. So in React, a component is usually just a JavaScript function, and that's one of the coolest things about React because components are actually very simple. So to start our button component, we can write the keyword function and then the word button, and yeah, we start with a capital letter here as well. And then we open and close parentheses because it is a function. We add curly braces here, and inside this function, we have to return an HTML element. So for example, we can write here button, click me. And with 3 lines, you've basically built your first component. The reason why we are getting this error is because we have to export this function. It says right here, button is defined but never used. So we can write here, export the full button. And now our button is available throughout the entire application. It's funny because a lot of beginners expect React components to be some special complicated structure, but most of the time they're literally just functions. The difference is that instead of returning numbers or strings like normal functions, React components return JSX, and that JSX describes what should appear on the screen. So even though it's small, this is already following the same concept used in huge professional applications. Big React apps are basically thousands of small components working together to create one complete interface. Now, something important to notice here is the naming convention. When I said that we would write our React components with a capital letter, it's because React uses capitalization to understand whether something is a normal HTML element or a custom component created by us. So lowercase tags like div and button or h1 are treated as standard HTML elements, but uppercase names like button or navbar are treated as React components. I'm going to delete this example. Now that we exported our button, we can go into our app.jsx and we can import that component into the main application file. So we can write here import button from ./button, and once it's imported, we can write here button with the capital letter B like this, and ta-da, we have our button. So take a look at this part. It looks almost exactly like an HTML tag. That's one of the most powerful ideas in React. We can create our own custom elements and use them exactly like built-in HTML elements. Instead of only having access to tags like div or button, we can invent our own UI elements like button, card, sidebar, moto, also navbar or product card. So this makes the code feel much more organized because each component represents a meaningful piece of the interface. So if you notice, every time we add something to the HTML like an h1, the page will automatically refresh. refresh. For example, I'm going to add here refresh time, and almost instantly you can see the result on the screen. Even though this seems simple, a lot is already happening behind the scenes. React is taking our component, rendering it into the DOM, and updating the page automatically. So one of the reasons developers love React is because it handles a lot of these updates efficiently for us. Alright, I'm going to delete this H1 because it was just an example, and here's where components start becoming really powerful. Instead of using this button once, I can use it multiple times. So watch this. I'll duplicate the button component a few times inside this file, so maybe 12 buttons. Okay, we just need one more, and now we have 12 buttons. And yeah, instantly we now have multiple buttons on the page with the exact same structure and styling. This is the entire idea of reusability. We write the component once, and then we can reuse it as many times as we want. And imagine how useful this becomes in a real application. Let's say you're building an e-commerce website. Maybe every product card has an add to cart button. Without components, you would probably repeat the same button code dozens or even hundreds of times. But with React, you can create the component once and reuse it everywhere. Then if you later decide to change the button style, maybe making the corners more rounded or changing the color, you only need to update the component in one place. And every button across the entire application updates automatically. That's one of the reasons React scales so well for large projects. And another huge benefit of components is organization. So instead of having one massive file with thousands of lines of code, we can split everything into smaller pieces. Each component handles one specific responsibility, and that makes the project easier to navigate, easier to debug, and easier for teams to work on together. One developer could work on the navbar component, while another works on the sidebar component without constantly interfering with each other's code. Now at this point, you might notice something. So all of our buttons currently say the exact same thing. Every single one displays the same text because the component is hard-coded. And obviously, in real applications, we want more flexibility. We want different text and different colors, different sizes, and different behaviors depending on where the component is being used. And that's where props come in. Props are one of the most important concepts in React because they allow components to become dynamic and reusable in different situations. Props let us pass data into components, almost like giving them instructions. Think of props like arguments in a normal JavaScript function. Just like a function can receive values, a React component can also receive values. So instead of hard coding the button text, we could pass different text into each button component. So we can write here props, and then we can change this click me. So in here, you have to add curly braces. Inside the curly braces, we can actually write JavaScript code. We can write props.text. Right now, you can see that the button is empty. There's nothing inside of it. You can only see the gray background. But if we go into our app.jsx, into our first button, and add a text prop, we can pass here, click me. And now you can see the button with the text that we passed here. For the other one, we can say login, for example, or sign up. And for this other button, we can add subscribe, for example. By the way, if you are not subscribed to the channel, make sure to subscribe and also to like the video, because I post videos twice a week to help you improve your developer skills. So going back into our button file, this word props here is a shorthand for properties. When we use a component like button and pass values such as text equals login or text equals subscribe, React automatically groups all of those values into a single object called props. And that's why our component usually receives a parameter named props. So inside the component, we can access those values using dot notation, like props.text. And this is what allows the same component to behave differently depending on the data it receives. So one button component can display completely different text without us rewriting the component itself. But there is also a cleaner way to work with props called destructuring. So instead of writing props.text every time, we can directly extract the values we want from the props object right inside the function parameters. So you can delete this and add curly braces. And in here, we can write the name of our prop. So in this case, we called it text, and then we just called this text variable here. And now we can see that it's working. I'm going to delete the extra buttons, and I'm going to add some style here so you can see that the styles will be applied to all the elements. So in React, we can apply inline styles by passing the style attribute, and inside the curly braces, we pass an object with our CSS properties. So I'm going to pass here a background color cyan. I'm going to add a margin for this buttons with a value of 10, a padding 10 as well, and a min width of 150. So you might notice that React components usually need to return a single parent element. For example, if we try returning h1 and a button side by side without wrapping them, I'll show you what happens. I'm going to create another component and I'm going to call this a failure.jsx. I'm going to write here function failure and I'm going to export this failure, and inside the component I'm going to try the button and h1 side by side. So return h1 failure. It works. I'm going to wrap this around parentheses because it's a pretty common pattern in JSX. And after this, a button, it doesn't work. You can see that React throws an error here. JSX expressions must have one parent element. So one way to solve this is by wrapping everything inside a div, just like this. So I'm going to cut this, add a div, and inside this div, I'm going to paste the h1 and the button, and I'm going to break the line here. So you can see that the error is gone now. But sometimes we don't actually want an extra div added to the page. So that's where React fragments come in. So fragments let us group multiple elements together without creating unnecessary HTML in the DOM. And the shorthand syntax for a fragment is just these empty angle brackets. So I'm going to delete the word div, and now you have React fragments. So instead of adding extra wrapper divs everywhere, we can use fragments to keep our code cleaner and our HTML structure simpler. And this way our component becomes much more useful because we change just one file and everything will be updated instantly. And the more you build with React, the more natural this way of thinking becomes. Eventually, whenever you look at a website, your brain automatically starts breaking the interface into reusable pieces. You stop seeing one giant page and start seeing collections of smaller components working together. And that shift in thinking is one of the biggest milestones when learning React. So if React felt confusing before, hopefully now the idea is starting to click a little more. At first, JSX and components can look strange, but once you understand the purpose behind them, React becomes much easier to reason about. Components help us reuse code, organize interfaces, reduce repetition, and build applications in a much more scalable way. And this is really only the beginning. Now that you understand how components work, you're already thinking the same way real React applications are built. We created reusable UI, organized our code into smaller pieces, and started understanding why React became so popular in modern front-end development. But so far, our components are still pretty static. They always render the same thing and don't really react to user interaction yet. In the next video, we're going to learn about useState, which is one of the most important features in all of React. And that's the moment where your applications start becoming interactive and dynamic. So if you enjoyed this video and want to keep learning React step by step, make sure to subscribe and leave a like because it really helps the channel. Don't forget, spread knowledge with others because I shared this with you. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.